Hello friends, welcome to Miss Lori's Craft Room. I am kind of veering off the path of flowers right now and going to show you how to alcohol ink using a stencil. So let me grab the sample. So this is what we're going to do today. So this is really fun. You guys are going to just love this. So some of you that might see this know about alcohol ink. So some of the information I'm going to give you, you'll already know. But I have a lot of followers that alcohol ink is new to them. So I am going to tell them about it. So this is on a tile. This is just an inexpensive tile from Lowe's or Home Depot. It's slick, it's wonderful, it's so much fun because they're so cheap. So the best thing about the tile is if you don't like it, it turns out yucky, you can use alcohol, just plain old alcohol. This is 91%, and you can get a paper towel, get it wet, and wipe it off and start again. So this is really fun. So today we're going to be using alcohol ink, and this is by Ranger. This is, of course, Tim Holtz. We all love Tim Holtz stuff. There are other brands, but I have not used those, so I cannot talk about them. But these are great. They come in, you know, when you go to Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby, they come in a pack of 3, and they're usually colors that are that go together, that they're on the opposite spectrums of color. So today we're going to be using citrus, sunset orange, and purple twilight. So we're going for a folk art look right now, okay? So hopefully I'm going to be able to sell these to a local store to be able to carry them. It'll be really fun. So for this project we're going to be using paintbrushes. So these are just some inexpensive paintbrushes that I bought, and you can buy paintbrushes anywhere. But I bought this whole huge pack of them. How many there are from Amazon? They were $15, and there's a ton of them, and so it's great. So, and I bought a lot of them because I do not like to clean my brushes out, and especially with the ink, it takes forever. So this way I can just rinse them off and keep them to the colors they are. So you need 3 of those, and then you could use anything. You could just use another tile to put your ink in. See, this is my palette, and I just put the ink in here. You don't want to put a whole bunch in there because it dries pretty quick. So I'll just squirt a little bit in there and to pick it up, okay? So I'm going to do another tutorial on just freehand doing alcohol ink, but people have asked me how I did it. So we've got a tile. Now some of you won't have a Cricut or a Cameo or a Silhouette or any of those, but this was cut on my Cricut. I found the image online. I converted it in Inkscape, cut it, brought it into Design Space, cut it out, weeded it, and it's ready to go. So I'm going to sit still. Now we're going to start from the beginning because some people never have used a stencil. Okay, so this is transfer tape. So usually if I was going to do a stencil, I would use contact paper because it's inexpensive. But I'm out, so I'm just using the vinyl that I have because I wanted to do this tutorial. So you put hold on. This thing is curling because it's on rolls, so it's driving me crazy. It's driving me nuts. It keeps rolling up. Alright. So transfer tape is a sticky tape, but it's not very sticky. Okay? So you apply it on there. Now, usually you would cover all these edges and stuff, but because we're doing this, it's fine. It'll work out. So you're going to use your scraper tool. You scrape it onto, and you turn it over, scrape it on the back, okay? So then the transfer tape is going to lift it's going to lift it off of the carrier sheet. Sometimes it won't do it, so I'll just use my X-Acto knife to get it started. See, just going to peel it away. Okay, so then you're going to get your tile. And I did use my alcohol ink. I used alcohol and cleaned this off first, okay? So the best way to apply this, because is see I'm folding it in half, and then I'm just going to eyeball it center on both ends. And then I'm going to put it down and smooth it out. And I'm going to use my scraper again. Okay, and then I'm just going to carefully, now the key to transfer tape is to fold it back on itself. See how I'm just folding it back? So I'm just going to carefully walk it back and paying attention that that everything is sticking down. Now it sticks really good to tile, but some surfaces you'll have trouble. But because this is tile, it's super slick and simple. See? Okay. So now in order to get it so that it won't run underneath there, I'm going to use my heat gun. Now a hairdryer will work for this, but I like my heat gun, so I'm going to use my heat gun. And what it's going to do is this is a plastic, so it's going to kind of melt it a little bit, so it'll make it suck down to the tile. And then I'm going to use my brayer. You don't necessarily have to use a brayer, you can just use your fingers. But I'm just going to, okay, so it's going to be noisy when I do this, so just watch. So I'm just going to go over all the parts so it just really gets it down, because you don't want your ink to go under any of those, I'm just going to use my hand, under any of those little areas. So I'm just going to go over all the edges, but I don't want to get it too close because I don't want it to, it will lift it up. So you know, this is a really hot air. So you're just going over every little part. Especially with these little tiny lines that we're using on this, you really want to get those down so that we don't have any bleeding, because it will be kind of hard to clean up and you'll have to maybe start over, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so set that aside. Now we are going to be using our heat gun with the ink. Okay, heat guns or hair dryers go really good with alcohol ink. So let's talk about the alcohol ink. I don't know a lot about it. I've been using it for years, but basically it's pigment like a Sharpie base with alcohol, so it dries pretty quick. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to do this, but this is the way I did this particular one. If you saw my chicken, I didn't use a paintbrush on my chicken. I just dropped the ink on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and do all the orange, then all the green, and then all the purple. Okay, so the orange is going to be the biggest parts. So I am going to use just the drop method. Okay, so I'm just gonna, now this can come out pretty quick, so I just slowly, sometimes you have to squeeze it, but a lot of times it'll just drip on its own. Okay, so I'm just gonna go, there is really no right or wrong way to do alcohol ink. It's just the coolest thing you'll ever play with, I promise. Okay, so you can see I'm not gonna like flood it like crazy. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm going to do all of the spots that are orange, all the flowers orange. Okay. Now, you could just watch it and let it go, and then just keep adding and it will react to each other. But we're going to use the paintbrush, and we're just going to spread it all around. And as I said, this is just what I'm doing for my technique for this particular stencil. Okay, because I want to get in all the crevices, but I want to have a little control because there's some spots I don't want orange. So I want to be careful not to get the orange in the other spots. Even though if I did, I could just get a Q-tip and some alcohol and clean it up. Because it cleans up with alcohol. It's the coolest thing. So see, I'm just quickly doing that, and that's not the final. That's just this layer, okay? And I'm just going to go over here. Just going to quickly do it. And you can see that even though I applied it a minute, it's still wet. If I left it too long, if it was really hot, it would dry a lot faster. Okay, and my fan is going here, so it's evaporating it. And it probably doesn't look really great right now, but okay, so now this one kind of got dry, so I'm just going to go back in and add some more. It's so cool. So the reason we're going to do like all the one color, and then we're going to go back and we're going to go back once we dry it, and then we're going to add more texture to it. Alcohol ink is really cool. It reacts to itself. Okay. Okay, so we're going to just let that dry, and then we're going to go on to the next color. Okay. So this purple particularly is super strong. So I'm going to paint with it instead of applying it right to it. Okay, I'm going to put it in my little, I'm putting it over here in my little thing over here. And I'm getting my purple brush. I'm just going to dip the brush and paint. So it's really fun because you can use it like paint, just like you would paint. Move my fan because it's drying it too fast and I don't want it to dry so fast. So I'm making a series of these in 3, so they're all 3 of them are going to be exactly the same. That's why they're all going to be, we're doing it this way. Okay, where else is purple? Got warmer today than it's been. I need to have my son close it. Okay, so you're going to see that it's all just a little different. So I'm just going to keep going, do all the purple parts. And if you miss one, you're just going to go back and add some more, because we're still going to play with this. We're not even anywhere near done. But this is just our first coat. So let's see. Purple, purple. Oh, these are purple. See, so I got a little bit of purple in that center, and I'll just get a Q-tip and pick it up. And the reason I'm not just dropping it in there is because this purple is really, I know that purple is really thick, and I want to have some depth to it. I don't just want to have a big blob of purple. Okay. So purple, purple. To make sure they're all exactly the same. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put my purple brush, and I'm going to get my green. So I'm going to go ahead with the green. I will just put a couple drops in the bigger leaves, but there's a lot of green, like in the, oops, I missed a purple. This green isn't so strong, isn't as strong as the purple is. But I'm going to just still do the same thing. Just do the first. Boy, when I first did the other ones, it was much cooler in here. I can really see how much faster this is drying because it's gotten a lot warmer in this room since I did the first two samples. Okay, so all of these little dots are going to be going to be green. Okay, now see they're kind of dry, so I'm just going to put some more green in there, and it'll react. So as you can see, there's like not really any right or wrong way to do this. This is really fun. This is like, I love alcohol ink. It's always been one of my favorite things. Once I dyed my phone case. I dyed a pair of leather shoes. I dyed a shirt. It's fun. I just like to see, as usual, see what, what I can use in a different way. If you go and you join some of the alcohol ink Facebook pages, you guys will just be astounded at the work. It just has blown me away at what people have done. Okay, so I just did that wrong. So I'm just going to get a little alcohol, clean that up. See how easy that was? So that's supposed to be green, not purple. Okay. And this is purple. Okay. So since I have the purple, I'm going to go, now I'm going to just shoot, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun and just kind of evaporate everything. And then we're going to start adding more to it. And I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. Okay. So you can kind of see, so there is a few textures in that orange, but in the blues and the greens. So if you wanted it to just be all smooth, like look how smooth, that's pretty smooth. So I want it to look folk arty, so I'm going to put, I'm going to keep like messing around with it until I get it kind of what I want. Okay, so I'll lift it up so you can kind of see. So when you put, you put some ink, you're going to see it will react. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can kind of direct it, see, so I can kind of, it reacts on itself. And it's going to create like texture. So it's just really fun. I just love it. And if you like got a drip of alcohol on it, it would completely react, and it just is really fun. It's just really fun and crazy what you can do with it. Sorry, this seems kind of boring, I'm sure, just watching me paint. Oh yeah, see, now that's just way too thick. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just grab a Q-tip and suck it up. Because now I got it right in the center where I didn't want it. So I just broke a rule that for this project for me. Okay, let's see. So I got all of the purple, got some jazzy stuff on it. And you can just keep going as you can just keep adding layers. You just keep going back and touching it. And it will just, it spreads. You'll just see it just keeps. It's just really fun. Okay, I'm going to turn the heater on for a second. Okay, so now I'm going to do the grain again. Okay, and so I'm just going to get I'm going to put green in my palette over here so I can pick it up. And then I'm just going to mess around, keep adding little. And you'll see if you do it in different temperatures, like this is completely going to look, this is acting completely different than it did earlier when it was cool in here. It's drying so much faster. So one thing what I will do once I let these dry for like at least a week, well, and like tomorrow I'll spray it with they recommend like this Kamar stuff, but I don't have any of that stuff yet. So honestly, I've been using my polyurethane. But you do it from really far away so it doesn't ruin your finish. Okay, so you just because this is soluble, so if you spray it with something that's soluble like polyurethane, it will make spots. You just got to be really careful. Okay, so let me see. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that green yet. A little more. Really look and make sure that I've got all the spots that I want. Okay, so now I'm going to go with the orange. So let's just like drop a couple drops and see what happens. I'm just going to do the first two since it's so warm in here. I don't want it to. So if you just leave it alone, it'll just slowly spread, and you can even like pick up your tile and move it a little bit. It's gotten so warm in here, I'm going to just play around with it. I'm going to move it around because it's... Oh yeah, see, so that just smoothed it all out. So I'm just going to dry it real quick. The center one got some texture, but you just never know how it's going to respond. So I'm going to put this in my palette, and then I'm going to play with it. So I'm just using the side of my brush. I don't know if you guys can see it responding. And then I'm going to just dry it real quick so it doesn't all blend back together. Okay, and then I can come even more and do it again. So I'm going to lift that up so you can really see that orange. And you see how, it just, because it's just building on top of each other, it's creating all that shading. Okay, so I'm going to do the last flower. People use like straws, they use all kinds of things to paint with these. They like okay. So I think that I'm gonna really look at it, make sure. Okay, so I am not going to peel this one for like 2 or 3 hours, okay? So I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to get the one I did earlier. So first thing I'm going to do is put the lids back on all my inks and put them back up on the shelf so that they are not in the way. Okay, I'm going to put my dirty paintbrushes to the side because I don't want to get my new tile we just did. Okay, so now we're going to peel off the stencil. So you do want to kind of, you know, be ginger with it, because if there was like a buildup on some of the things, you might, it still might be a little sticky. So just keep your hands off of it and just be careful to just pull the stencil off. Another reason why I really like using contact paper better than regular vinyl for this, because contact paper is not so sticky. It comes off a lot easier, but it's still, you still get that. Okay. So once this is cured for a few hours, and then I, you know, and then I, like a day or a couple days, and then you spray it with a first sealer. They recommend using a UV sealer. I have not done that yet because this is like my first doing art type stuff with this. I've done it on a lot of other things, but if you want it to be like art and you want it to be color fast, and then they like some of the stuff I did, I put epoxy on it. But I've been reading a lot, and they say to use, I think it's Krylon Triple Thick. And that's a spray, I think. So I don't have any recommendations for that. I've only been reading up and trying to research it myself, because my goal is to try to sell these to a local store. So I hope that I can, because that would be really cool to have my artwork in people's houses. I love that. We live in a really small little town, but somebody just opened a really cute little farm place, and she sells new and used stuff. So see how cool that is? Now, because we were really careful and we heated the stencil and we really braided it, you know, pushed it down, I see no running. Now, I did do this butterfly the other day. You can see how tiny the lines are, and it was my own fault. I pulled it off too soon because I always never want to wait, so I smeared it. So I'm just going to wipe it off and do it again, because it's, you know, ink lasts for a really long time. So, but now this one, see how fun? It's just really fun. So I'll set this aside, and then I will let them dry for quite a while before I do anything else to it. So I hope I answered some of your questions, and thanks for coming to see me, and I'll have this posted. Thanks.